Welcome to the show. Episode 4. We got a great guest here today. My boy Lawrence Jones. Lawrence is a history teacher in the education system. Background in CJ as well. The 2017 Homecoming King. You already know. My boy, fraternity brother of mine, good friend, and Lawrence, man, thank you so much for being on the podcast, bro.
Okay, thank y'all so much for having me. Once again, educator, background in CJ. Just really happy to be here. I always want to be part of things that are positive, uplifting, and beneficial for the community. So, dope experience. I love the podcast and excited to be here.
For sure, man, for sure. And appreciate all the good feedback, man. It's been a crazy weekend, right?
Crazy weekend for fights, you know?
For fights, crazy, man. Bro. I definitely want to get into that. We had bets here. I lost money.
Were you guys at a bet?
Yeah, I had a bet. I lost 20 and 20, man. Freaking.
For who? On what? On what bet?
So I really thought Paulo Costa was gonna make it a lot closer than what it was, and clearly didn't go that way, right? So, I mean, he looked really off, you know.
Yeah.
I thought he was gonna strike a lot more with him and things like that, but no, clearly it was a one-sided fight, and now $40 in the hole.
What do you think happened?
I think I know what happened.
What do you think happened?
Like, I was talking to the guys before the podcast started, and they were saying how... Well, whenever I saw that text for Noe that said that he thought Paulo Costa was going to win, everybody knows that Israel Adesanya had been a kickboxer in his previous career.
Yep.
And the dude has 75 fights and 6 losses. So I was like, there's no way this guy, this big old dude, there's no way Israel Adesanya has never faced somebody that's big old bulky and charges people. I mean, he's built his whole career off of kind of counterattacking. And even when I saw him fight against what's this guy, the Cuban guy? Joe Romero. Yeah, whenever I saw him fight him like that, and the fight started with Paulo Costa, and I saw that Paulo Costa was kind of doing the same thing Joel Romero was doing, which was was trying to bait him in or stop and stand in the middle of the ring. I was like, oh, this is gonna be either the same thing, but I also saw that he kept kicking him on his knee, and I was like, even though Paulo Costa was playing it off like it didn't hurt, I was like, this is if this is a 5-round fight.
Yeah.
If he doesn't start checking those kicks by round 3, bro, that's his knee's gonna give up.
I mean, at the end of the day, he's a human being, and you can just not take it. No matter how mentally strong, I mean, your flesh is still gonna feel that, right?
Yeah,
did you see what he was talking about?
Oh, for sure, bro. Did y'all see his face after round 1? The camera zoomed into his face, and it was the look of pure discouragement in Costa's face. Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
So I was either he's gonna sell out or get knocked out within 2 rounds, because it was he knew this ain't what I thought. You know.
Honestly, what I think happened was Costa was he was out of character, bro.
Yeah.
I think Easy got in his head.
I think so.
Big time.
Do you think he was out of his character, or do you think knowing Israel Adesanya, how he stands super wide, you know, he stands kind of like a ninja kind of style?
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel if he he has a fear of Paulo Costa having a fear of rushing in there and probably getting a slip and jab and out?
that is what was happening. I feel that when you see Adesanya's movement, he was constantly cutting off the angle, constantly switching stances, orthodox to southpaw, and I feel that really Paulo Costa had never seen somebody of that caliber who did it that smoothly, that consistently, and would just never puts himself in a bad situation.
Yeah.
You know, and he just, Izzy kind of played the fight. Excuse me. He's he just took what, Paulo gave him. Paulo was willing to sit there, and Izzy was like, all right, dude, I'm going to chop your leg. So,
yeah. Damn.
Crazy,
Another, what do you think about the possible matchup, John Jones and Izzy?
He's too small.
I don't know, man.
Nah, man. That's what they said against Costa.
Costa's 190. Well, what is he walking around?
They fought at 185, right?
Yeah, they fought at 185, but Costa walks around at 230 or so, man. He can get up there for sure. I feel that Izzy can just kind of he can kind of get a little stronger. I mean, he has the frame for it, so.
He is pretty tall. He's pretty freaking tall.
Yeah.
So
6'4", so. Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's crazy. So, but. I mean, that's what it was, man. But I know we got some real good stuff, right, that we want to get into, right? Here having Lawrence on.
This isn't the UFC review podcast.
This ain't the UFC
Sorry,
review
guys, but
podcast.
we just wanted to talk about it.
But I feel like we're all kind of mutual UFC fans,
for sure.
so that's a cool thing. But But yeah, man, I know you wanted to get into a couple things, Lawrence, and one of those things was something to do with Texas history, right? And in those regards, man, can you go into that and you know enlighten us
Or can you
a
tell
little
us
bit?
a little bit about yourself too? Like
I'll mix
what
it
do you
all
do?
in. I mean, I'm not that important, so I'm mainly gonna stick on history, you know.
Yeah,
but,
Of course, yeah.
Like
Why history? Are you a history
I'm gonna
teacher?
tell you. So like for me, why history is so important, why it's so crucial. Like we look at many issues that we have today,
Okay.
and a lot of times we try to solve them with like solutions from today, and you just can't do that, you know. Like when you go to the doctor and something's wrong with you, one of the first things they ask you is, "What's your medical history? You know, what did your parents go through? Does this run in your family?" Because they know that anything you're dealing with today probably stems from something in the past. So, sorry.
No, you're good.
So like a lot of things that go on, whether it's racial tension, police brutality, whatever issues we turn on the news see every day, we gotta look at the history behind it if we really want to find the solution. So that's one reason I always like harp and dwell on history. And number two, another reason for history. I mean, you play sports. It's like working out, practicing hours. What's something else you have to do to be successful on the field?
What do you mean, like?
Well, what's something you and your coach and teammates did a lot of?
Oh,
Probably.
you review like tape, right? Like you have to review tape.
Review tape,
people are
history,
doing.
trends.
Exactly. And that's all history is for me personally. Like, if life's the game, I feel like if I'm studying my history, I'm studying the game they film where I can recognize patterns and things that are going to happen over and over and over. And I can learn how to adjust, you know. I can learn how to call the audible. I can know when they're doing a play action. I know when a politician's doing a fake. So to me, that's the beauty of history. And, yeah, that's why I do a lot of it. Just once again.
Do you mean like in a way you're saying by seeing the old playbook, in a way you can see like how history repeats itself? Or?
Exactly, brother.
Okay, gotcha. So what are you seeing that's happening right now? I mean, because there's a lot going on right now in America.
Well, mainly everything's a contradiction, and I'm gonna get into a little more. But obviously, the police brutality happens over and over. Some things I want to wait for a little later to say, but well, kind of like I don't want to get too political. I don't want to jump into it.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't hate Trump or anything. But Trump's whole plan on building a wall, for me, I look at that and I know that he doesn't want a physical wall built. That's kind of like the fake handoff, you know. Like really, he wants, in my opinion, he's just trying to build Hispanic feelings. You know, he doesn't care about a physical wall. He just wants you to push, immigration.
Rhetoric.
The rhetoric.
Okay.
That's it. And for me, I've seen things. I forgot the guy, but it was a guy in the 70s in California who did the exact same thing. Like he made all these anti-immigration laws, but in reality, he was just trying to add jobs to like poor white people, and he wanted the immigrants, people who are immigrating over, to like pretty much be afraid to come out and compete for those jobs. So he was saying we're going to build these laws, but really his whole he was faking a handoff, but he was passing it down the field. Sorry to be all nerdy, but that's the way I see it.
Yeah, no, it's all good. It's all good. Yeah, but here you have some stuff like when you see like the rhetoric, is it like what happened with El Paso, or like when he built that rhetoric or that certain like view to immigrants and that happened? Is that kind of what you mean?
Like a guy you talking about, Patrick, 21-year-old male from El Paso. Yeah, I remember about the case that happened about a year ago. He ran into the Walmart, said I'm trying to,
20
like
plus people.
Hispanics are overrunning Texas. I believe he killed 23 total, injured 23. And to
Mexican
me,
nationals too, right?
You said what?
I think he also killed some Mexican nationals as well.
Yeah, like from actual Mexico, like because right there at the border. What's that city called? El
Paso?
El Paso.
Well, not El Paso. It's something else that's touching the border. I don't.
Do you know?
Ciudad Juarez?
Yeah, I
on
think
the other
Ciudad
side?
Juarez. Yeah.
That's my hometown.
Probably.
Yeah, it's,
Really?
that's on the Mexico side. Juarez and El Paso. It's
Gotcha.
So so this guy's saying that Hispanics are over running America, invading Texas, and I want to run through some Texas history because that's just a blatant contradiction. Like it's blasphemous. First of all, from the jump, 1492, Columbus sailed the ocean blue. So we know Spain settled North America before anyone. Hence why you speak Spanish in the South a lot of times. So Mexico, they end up going to war with Spain to get their independence because Spain had this racist system in place. They had a racial caste, slave encomienda system, and a mission system where they're erasing the culture of the Native Americans. So that's happening in New Spain, which is in North America. So like Mexico, Texas, California, all that's New Spain. And
so their goal was to dehumanize the Native Americans? In a way?
Yep. History repeating itself, bro. Kind of like the same way now, like devaluing people of color's lives.
Okay.
First thing Columbus did, touch down, was he sex trafficked, Native Americans, sold them into slavery, used them to gather gold and whatnot. So from the jump, people of color were dehumanized in America. And Mexico ends up getting their independence from Spain because of this racist system. And his father, Miguel Hidalgo, was actually Hidalgo Street, like downtown Houston, named after him. But Father Miguel Hidalgo was a super powerful man because he had the ability to talk across racial lines. So this racist caste system that I mentioned earlier was pretty much the more pure European blood you had, the better you were treated, like in this system. So Peninsulares were at the top. You know, they paid less taxes, they had better jobs, better opportunities. Creoles, mestizos, Native Americans, and enslaved Africans were further down the line. They had to pay higher taxes, and they had less job opportunities.
Was this like in Mexico, or was this what was this at?
Oh yeah. So this is New Spain, which is America. You know, so this is it's kind of confusing. Y'all can see my my they can't. So this is New Spain. So yeah, in New Spain, which is Texas, California, North America, they have this racist system going on that Mexico ends up revolting from. You know, they fall under this guy, Miguel Hidalgo.
Okay.
He's able to unite everyone and pretty much go up against Spain. And I have him next to Fred Hampton. You mentioned Fred Hampton, or like you shared one of his posts a while back.
I did.
But we'll talk about him later. But yeah, he also had the ability to speak across racial lines.
Okay.
So pretty much Father Hidalgo, he's able to unite these natives, mestizos, all these people to go against Spain and like get their independence. So my point being is that my bad, I had a little mix up. Sorry, because I get a little lost. The history gets too much. So pretty much,
you were talking
Mexico.
about from the beginning the racial and all that stuff.
History repeats itself, and that's why you like to study history.
Yeah.
Well,
so pretty much
that I heard you say right now was that you were talking about how Christopher Columbus was trying to make everything better for the people who were the most pure from Spain, right? You were saying?
Well, that was actually the Spanish system, you know, because like New Spain was, you got all the European countries. They're sending people over to North America to colonize. So they colonized the southern portion of North America. So Texas, Mexico, really that whole half of the U.S. belongs to Spain. Mexico gets their independence from Spain because they have a racist system in place.
Right.
You know, the culture of racing, the slavery and all that. And now Mexico, pretty much their economy is fucked up at this point. Like they don't have any money.
Yeah.
So to get money, they start inviting Anglo-Americans in. Here comes Stephen F. Austin from America.
Right.
So what he does is he's like a real estate agent kind of, and he's selling land to people from America because Mexico needed to boost their economy after the war and whatnot. So pretty much he was like, bet, pull up, you can kick it in Mexico, only rules are follow the culture, follow the laws, and one of their biggest laws was no slavery because they just won their independence from Spain because of slavery. So Stephen F. Austin, the Anglos, ultimately they couldn't follow that rule. They were like, this is the South. You can grow crops in the South. We're going to have our slaves in the South. So ultimately that's what kicked off the Texas Revolution. And a lot of people, you're not taught that in middle school, but the Texas Revolution was 100% a war to preserve slavery. The Anglos who came in didn't want to follow those laws, so they revolted. So I know that was a really long point, but the point was, Patrick.
But that's actually really interesting. So did you know that?
I didn't know
I did
that.
not know that. So the Texas Revolution, right? You said was a fight because they wanted to keep slavery in
100%.
Texas.
Yep.
Okay. So like the Anglos from let's say they were coming from the east to west or so, came into the territory that was not Texas, but geographically Texas.
Yep.
And then said we want to still have slaves, and then called it the Texas Revolution.
Yep, that was it, bro. If you want our guns, come and take it,
Okay.
You're
Okay.
a dictator.
Does it have to do with like the Alamo and all that?
Oh, yeah.
stuff?
So
Okay.
everyone who died at
Okay,
the
gotcha.
Alamo, they died for the right to have slaves. Davy Bowie, all those guys, bro.
Yeah.
Davy Crockett, I meant. James Bowie,
Yeah.
like all those guys died for right to
Yeah.
have slaves. So it shows you just how powerful racism in our country is. Guys, think of the Civil War. Guys are literally willing to lay down their lives, not go home to their families over racism. So imagine what they're willing to, do this day and age.
So how do you feel about these statues of now people are starting to realize people back in the day were racist and stuff, and now we have statues of them everywhere, and people are taking them down. How do you feel about that?
I mean, if you can take down every racist thing or statue, you're going to have a lot of stuff to take down. If you go to all the presidents, you've had KKK movies shown in the White House. It's really just the U.S. history is so embedded, So I do like the statues coming down, but we need to create some laws, man. Like, I don't care about statues. Like, what's going to actually help my family in the future?
For sure. And this is a kind of like, in a way, like thinking at it from a different perspective. Is it fair for us to judge? But of course, the racist stuff and completely slaves not okay. But for example, when I heard this in a podcast, right? And it said it's like to condemn is George Washington is a racist or something like that, and you can't have his statues or whatever. But they were like, well, back then, I mean, that's like what they, unfortunately, right, is what they lived through, right? So it kind of like, you know, is it cool for us to be like, oh, we got to remove those statues and things like that?
I saw a quote that said you can't judge the ignorance of the past with today's knowledge.
Yeah.
Because for them it was normal. That was the normal thing. So
yeah.
And they were
Which
talking.
doesn't make it okay. Right?
Yeah,
But a lot of people,
future,
racism is normal today too. You know, a lot of people say that discrimination against Hispanic people is normal. Black people getting shot more often by the cops is normal.
There you go.
So for me, I mean, I don't know. Racism is racism. Wrong is wrong.
For sure.
I feel like even back then, you had Quakers and people that were abolitionists and they're against slavery, and they knew it was wrong. You know, anything you gotta constantly try to find a way to justify. But I mean, I see what you're saying. I'm not saying that we should just.
No.
I was just putting out a
yeah.
quote.
And it's saying it's like it was just such a different time, and it's like I wonder how those people viewed what they were doing.
Yeah.
You know, like because to them, unfortunately, that was just their norm. I mean,
do you think that could be the part of being like kind of like it's called woke, right? People say like whenever like changing the Washington Redskins. Like I was watching the game right now. It's called just the Washington team now.
The Washington football team.
The Washington football team. It's not the Washington Redskins anymore. Do you feel like that could be taken over like too far? Because like, I mean, imagine throughout the whole Game of Thrones, the zombies they were called White Walkers, right? You think what if they would have been like, hey, we can't be calling zombies White Walkers, that affects white people.
Well, I mean, do white people have a history of being oppressed though?
Right, yeah.
It's not just to be like whatever, but it's just the history behind it.
Right.
But what are your thoughts on that?
Like I said, it's kind of like to me, naming the Washington Redskins is kind of like taking the statues down. Like it's cool, I guess, but it's not really no real change. 20 years from now, what's it gonna do for you? Like I got a jersey that says Washington. Like I don't know.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
I guess what I was trying to get to was that like not obviously like I'm not like fighting for any of that stuff. I'm just saying like do you think there could be a point where like we're like kind of being over woke? Like you know what I mean? Like going too far. But I do feel like what you're saying though that
I see what you're saying.
That we should be focusing on things that actually
can actually matter. Things that can change and like build better for like the community. I also heard some things that's like, just think about how the U.S. government right now is so worried about pumping money into the economy, into people's pockets, you know, because there's a coronavirus, right? The economy's down and everything. So, but I mean, there's so many neighborhoods that are predominantly always of color that are just constantly underfunded, over-policed. So people usually have like a higher criminal record because, you know, there's more police there. So there's more of a chance of them having like a petty crime or things like that.
And not only that, they see their examples, like, right? They see their fathers or whatever, like committing crimes or whatever. And they really don't see the way out of those places. So even that like contributes to them having that being oppressed, you know, being still.
Yeah, I think that's part of it, right? And it's just like when you just go in different neighborhoods, you see the big difference and the biggest thing. I mean, with the funding as well, and I mean now it's important, but that could always.
Would you say, Lawrence, that that's still like some of the remaining factors from back whenever everything was much more racist here in the United States? Like, is that leftover
policing
stuff? Yeah, like.
I mean, once again, you gotta look at the history of why police were created, you know, and look at the system they work in. And you know, someone who's worked in a prison, I saw directly as soon as I hopped in. As soon as I walked into prison, I saw that it's a business, you know, like
Yeah, I'm sorry. Let me say that about you. You were also a correction officer.
Yeah, I worked in the correction officer. I wasn't serving time.
How long were you a correction officer for?
I was 3.5 years.
3.5 years. Yeah. So in the prison, I remember Lawrence hanging out. Oh, you gotta go to work like on a weird like schedule. I remember that, but yeah,
shanked.
That would be important to point that out. But go ahead.
But yeah, bro, I remember the first time I walked in, I saw like this is a business, man. Like the people here, they're here against their control. People from the prison, they could have built this table, they could have built whatever. Like people from the prison, they get loaned out. You know, it's $100 million a year industry, and these prisons have a quota that they have to keep. You know, like they put these prisons in these rural areas that provide jobs to people that a lot of times don't have education. And I'm reading a stat from y'all. Well, less than 5% of the world's population, the U.S. has less than 5% of the world's population, but nearly 25% of its incarcerated population. the U.S. imprisons more people than any other nation in the world, largely to the war on drugs. So a lot of the prison stems from like the war on drugs, the disparity between, you know, crack cocaine, regular cocaine. Did y'all ever talk about that, or
Did you understand the difference, Martin, between like crack and like the way it was pursued by the law, like crack and cocaine?
No.
Did you? Okay, you want to go into it?
Yeah, so pretty much it was 100-1. I believe it's 10-1, because you have you know, obviously crack is cheaper. Well, not obviously, you know, ain't no one buying up like I don't know.
Yeah,
but yeah, crack is cheaper. You know, powder cocaine, you know, it's with your celebrities, with your rock stars, with your athletes. Well, maybe not athletes, but like people that party, they're doing the powder cocaine. So they're like, you know, we can't put a punishment on the powder cocaine. We're gonna be locking up the wealthy elites. So they put the a higher penalty on the crack cocaine. So if you had a gram of crack, you were going to go to jail for prison for 5 years, no matter what. A gram of crack, 5 years. In order to have the same prison time, you have to have 100 grams of cocaine, because they know we don't want our senator getting caught with cocaine and locked up. We don't want people who look like us. But if we go to the hood where all they can afford is crack, I can go and I can pick them and I can throw them in the prison, and we don't have to have slavery anymore, because now it's legal, because we're getting 50 grand an inmate, you know? So at this point, obviously there's some really amazing cops, but the system overall is incentivized to lock up people. It's incentivized for judges to grant long sentences, because stop slapping the table. Like, it's incentivized for the judges to grant long sentences because these prisons have to have a quota. Like, literally, if people aren't in the prison, people lose their jobs. So once you start understanding that more, you see why, you know, the policing is what it is, because obviously, you know, they're not going to go and lock up just all the college kids and all the other people. They're going to try to find who can, you know, who's most likely looked over, who can we say, you know, they're committing a crime anyways. They're just drug users. So they find this free labor source in the hood.
Crazy. Yeah. Growing up in a college town, well, not growing up, but 4 years at Huntsville, which is when I met my boy Lawrence. When you just drive around, I mean, did you ever go to Huntsville ever? Or have you ever, like, in the city? I mean, the city of Huntsville, I guess, the town of Huntsville. But it's like prisons everywhere, man. Do you know how many prisons are there?
I think it's at least 11.
11 or so. Like, they're just everywhere. And, which is kind of crazy now that I think about it, now that I don't live there no more, right? But you would be driving, man, then you'll see inmates outside working or doing something, cutting lawns. Yeah, like, I guess the well-behaved inmates, but all different, also like different jails too and things like that.
That's crazy to see that. I mean, not crazy to see, but crazy to hear what you're saying, because that actually like kind of like clears it up for me a little bit more, because a lot of people like to blame cops, right? But when you see that the system is already set up for people to go some people because it's not everybody, like you were saying, like there's a lot of rock stars that do cocaine, but like people who cannot afford that cocaine, like it's crazy that they thought of not only like what substance was gonna be the cheapest that they could find in the ghettos, where they could actually get people off of. Like, it just totally makes sense now. Like, it opens your eyes to see.
And that's why it's a system, things working together. You know?
Yeah, and honestly, it's even a system even deeper than that like kind of like circles back around, because let's say, unfortunately, whatever you want to look at it, but let's say an individual happens to get caught with a gram of crack. They go to jail for 5 years. It's like, because didn't they have like a statute of like a mandatory
mandatory minimum.
No matter what, it was a minimum.
No matter what
the judge said. Now they're getting rid of minimums. Is that correct? Or like in certain states or something
they
like
had
that.
They had a reform. I know Obama administration had a reform. I think certain states, most don't anymore. I need to check into that. I'm not 100% sure.
It sounds so crazy. Like I get what they're trying to do, but as a country, right, to be one of the wealthiest countries, and one of the countries that like a lot of people want to come here, like it's crazy to see.
It is changing, bro.
No, it's changing, but it's crazy to see how, like, why would these senators or whoever made these laws, like, what was the point behind all of that?
Yeah, I want to say something to that, but I want to also finish what I was saying about like the system, how it revolves. Because if you go for the minimum for 5 years, you get out, now you have a felony, right? Now it's very hard for you to get a job. Nobody wants to hire you, and let's say you want to like get right, it was just a mistake, bro, but now you can't get hired.
But that's what I'm saying.
But no, hold on, it goes deeper than that. It's like now you have to either go back to doing something to get money that has to literally be like illegal. And now you can go for a longer sentence, and now they keep you for like now you either have free slavery or free work for a longer period of time. You know what I'm saying?
So this
it's
whole
reoccurring
system,
capital.
This whole system is basically to get free work.
And some of it, bro, it kind of
And social, I would say it's economic and social control, you know. Like you can control people of color more with the laws because they're more greatly affected. They're less likely to have the resources to combat it. So it's all it all plays a role. I want to read a quote though. This is from the Nixon campaign.
That's so evil though to think about it, right? Jesus Christ, like really that bad? You want to control people that bad?
But think about it's the history. You got to walk through the history. It's like it is evil, but yeah, it is evil. But when is it? You know, almost when is it not? But not saying America is just horrible. I'm not saying that at all. You know, but I'm saying like if you look at the history of it, it's not pretty. So when we see things today, it's like, yeah, man, I seen the game film, so I know they run this play. Like I know it's not something that's like that they would never do, you know. But I did want to read this quote from Nixon. He's the one that actually started the war on drugs in '68. So this is from one of his campaign managers or someone on his team. But they said the campaign had two enemies: the anti-war left and black people. We knew we couldn't make it illegal to be either against war or black, but by getting the public to associate the hippies with marijuana and blacks with heroin, and then criminalizing both heavily, we can disrupt those communities. We could arrest their leaders, raid their homes, break up their meetings, and vilify them night after night on the evening news. Did we know we were lying about the drugs? Of course we did. Yeah, and that was a direct quote.
Yeah, and that how do you feel about that? Hearing something like that, bro?
Man, it's complicated because it's basically legal slavery.
Yeah,
they just and going back to Trump, I guess in a way, he says "Make America Great Again." He doesn't say "Make America Great." He says "Make it," and you said the history's not pretty at all. So what period of time does he want to go back to? Name a period of time where America was like, hey, it's great for everybody.
Yeah, that's why David Duke endorses him, the KKK Grand Wizard, because he's like, yeah, let's make America great again.
Yeah. Well, great for who? For them?
Yeah. Why not just say let's make America great? Why not? You're right. Why not leave it at Make America Great?
Do you think, Lawrence, that when Donald Trump talks like that, do you feel like he might be like radicalizing his following? Like, for example, I mean, like, you know, I mean, how like just small groups start popping up like in the Middle East, you know, like the Taliban that got radicalized by their countries or whatever. And whenever you hear like President Trump saying that if he loses this election, he's not gonna go out pretty, that it might look like Waco, you know, when that cult that was he said that before.
That's crazy.
Do you feel like, I don't know, like you hear all this talk about like a civil war and stuff like that, and you see this little like all these protests happening, this Black Lives Matter stuff happening, and I see all of that as like little sparks, right? Do you feel like maybe an election could be the thing that like maybe ignites that?
Gaslit or the gaslit?
Well, I mean, can you imagine Donald Trump losing and then being like, I'm not moving, like I'm not going anywhere, like, and I have my people behind me, and these people are the ones that, because he's said it before, he's like, if anything were to happen, I know my followers, we're the ones that have all the guns. So I mean, that's crazy to think, you know.
I mean, yeah, if he loses, I really don't know what he's gonna do. But I would say like some of his more radical supporters. I mean, you've seen some of the things they've done. El Paso, what's the other name? Kyle Rittenhour. What's the guy who just shot?
Kyle. Yeah, Sandman.
Yeah.
So he's definitely empowering people with his, you know, some of the ignorant or hateful rhetoric he uses. What he's gonna do after the election, I can't say, but
it's just a weird situation. We cannot see. Or I myself cannot see it just being good or pretty for either way, either direction, you know.
For either party, right? Because I feel like also, not only like you would say that Donald Trump is like radicalizing his following, but also I feel like it's the same thing for the Democrats with Antifa and all of those people, because they're not really like, you know what I mean? They're not actually like speaking peace or anything like of that nature.
But do you feel like the Democrats identify with Antifa? I wouldn't say they would identify with them.
They might not. The Democrats might not identify with them, but I know the Antifa identifies as Democrats.
Yeah, okay. And the Republicans think they do.
And they're exactly.
Yeah.
And then
very good point.
You get everybody.
I mean, the KKK identifies with Republican views, so I mean, I can't really hold them responsible. Like, I don't even look at it as two sides. Like, I just look at it as like a movement. Like I don't even look at it like Black Lives Matter as a political movement. I look at it as like the same fighting oppression, the same thing that's been going on for hundreds of years. You know, I really hate that they kind of put a name on it, because now like you can make it political. Like, oh, Black Lives Matter, they support Biden. I'm like, Biden's an old white guy. You know, he gets all the attention for a group called Black Lives Matter. I think that's kind of sad. So, yeah.
How do you feel about the Blue Lives Matter?
Blue Lives Matter? I mean, it's Blue Lives Matter was created, I believe, in 2015, a year after Black Lives Matter. So for me, it was clearly a direct response. You know, if you want to value your cops, you should. You should value the people that protect you every day. But you shouldn't create a group just to counter another group you don't like.
Yeah.
Like Blue Lives Matter, bring in the
good point.
cop that you care
Very
about
good
food
point.
every now and then. Stop breaking the law. You know, I know a lot of people that break the law consistently then say Blue Lives Matter. I'm like, really? Then why are you drunk driving every weekend, you know? So,
Yeah.
like,
That's
I
crazy.
I mean,
read an
respect the law,
article.
dude. Do something for cops. Educate yourself, you know?
Definitely.
And because I feel like a lot of the court cases a lot of cases that we have where we do have good cops, you know, but it's a bad system. And when that bad system protects bad cops, good cops end up getting hurt, you know, because
Oh man, that's a good. That
people
needs to be a quote right
people want to take that frustration out and they feel like they can't do it the right way, so they go shoot someone, which is wrong. So you got to protect those good cops by creating some separation, you know, but that's all part of the system, you know. The system's not made for separation. It's made for you going to this pen to make this money, stimulate the economy, social control, etc.
there. Yeah.
It's also crazy how like people are so tribal, you know, how everything's being so tribal right now. And I also feel like I have a couple of friends that are that some are cops or whatever, and I asked them once, I was like, hey, whenever you were, because one of my cousins, he got called out to go to Austin, right? Because he's in the National Guard, and
Okay.
they went to Austin because there was gonna be some big protest or whatever. And they were like, I was asking him like, so what did you feel like whenever you were there, like behind, like holding the line, you know, just in case?
Yeah.
He's like, man, like I saw a lot of people that were just like, come on, I wish they would do something so we could like actually do something as cops, you know, like get in there, you know. But really, they were just peaceful for a while, then they all left. But like just
So he wanted to be aggressive.
no. He was saying that the people that he was with, there was other cops.
They wanted to be aggressive.
They wanted it to be aggressive because I mean. You're a cop, right? Imagine, like,
Oh yeah, I mean,
You're
get
a
that
cop.
adrenaline pumping.
Yeah,
You're like,
yeah.
oh man,
Like,
Yeah.
if someone does something, bro, I'm
So
ready.
you want to fight as a
I'm
cop?
ready.
no. I'm saying like he's in the National Guard. He was saying the cops that were there. He kept hearing like people be like, man, are they actually gonna do something or not? It's like can you imagine yourself like holding a shield and having all this training that you've been doing for years and years and never being able to actually do anything? I know people who are older cops, they're mature, that have known like why would I ever want to risk my life, right? But then you have these young kids, these
Who are
21,
just trying to prove
22
something
year
to
olds.
somebody, maybe.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like
Yeah.
a deeper
yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
You know, that ego.
And that's what like whenever I listen to that Joe Rogan episode, he was talking about how there has to be a better way to vet these people, these cops. You know, than not just like having them train for 1 year of training and then sending them off. You know, like you have to break them down, see what they're really about.
Exactly.
You can't just be some kid that just wants to be a cop and have the gun and walk around and trying to prove something. You know.
Exactly. And in a system like that would make it harder to be a police officer or to vet you out. Like they mentioned in the podcast that to vet the ones of weak character of like, you know, who have a high ego, who want to prove something to somebody, you know, because like these, I mean, if you ever came across, if you met like a guy who you know is like a badass, you know, like this guy was like, you know, Marine or something, you know, they're usually very calm people.
Yeah.
Not trying to do nothing to nobody, you know, just relax. It's usually those guys who, you know, have something to prove to themselves or somebody. And unfortunately, those people, the system is not probably meant to vet those people out, you know. And they become police officers. And
Y'all made a
we
good
have bad
point.
stories.
I think maybe 2 episodes ago, you talked about all cops should like train jiu-jitsu, get at least a blue belt. I think that was pretty dope. Like it makes a lot of sense because, like you said, a lot of cops I feel are. I mean, it's a tough job. Obviously, it's
Very
a grown
tough
man
job.
job, bro. You got a gun on your hip. You dealing with God knows who. So you don't need to be someone that's scary doing that job. You know, like it might be easy to say, but you know, like if you got to fight someone, obviously don't let them shoot at you. But I feel like, you know, like you said, if you train, you can actually apprehend someone instead of just shooting them. You know, you know, I can actually take them to the ground.
Yeah, exactly.
So I had a question for you guys. I wanted to get y'all's thoughts on something. I feel like whenever the United States happened, like when it happened, what the hell? Like whenever back in the day, I feel like people had more power, right, with their voting and all that stuff, and people were actually like, I feel like not the Republicans, the politicians were held to the people, like whatever the people wanted, they were trying to please the people so they can get voted in, or other than that, or stuff like that. But do you guys feel like the people have lost kind of like the power in the system now? Like I feel like those people are up there and like not really caring what we think anymore. I feel like they're just trying to please like their what are they called? They're constituent.
The people who like donate money to them. Right?
Yeah.
Third party, I don't know, contributions, right? I don't know, man.
Because I see these celebrities, I see like Little Dicky. Hey guys, you gotta go vote. Like really, it's up to Little Dicky now to tell us to go vote. Like what's happened? Like
on Instagram, do
people think that their vote does not matter that much anymore? Where like you got Lady Gaga, you got Little Dicky over here saying, "Hey, go vote," and I'm just like,
I think people just need a reason to vote. Like I feel like people need to be mobilized, and I feel like
like that what they're doing. They're just getting people to be mobilized. Is that what? Do you think? Is that the way to get people to be mobilized?
I think the people running need to actually like talk about some, like I said, instead of tearing down statues, talk about some laws, some things you want to change. And I feel like that'll mobilize people to go vote because they know that young people aren't voting this year. I think only 60% of young people or something voted 4 years ago, and now they're trying to like change that. Because they saw that Obama won whenever, and then lost 4 years ago. Trump won 4 years ago, so now they're like, yeah, all the young people, y'all need to come out and vote. So I feel like they're trying to get everyone like mobilized and vote. But that's the politician's job. Like, give us a reason to go vote. Don't put Little Dicky in our face and tell us to vote.
Don't try to get no freaking Little Dicky in my face.
How do y'all feel about people that don't care about politics? When obviously there's a lot.
That's what I'm saying. Like, there's so many people that do not care about politics at all. Like this country just being run. Like, I feel like the politicians like it better that way, where people don't know anything about what's going on. So that way you can just keep making laws.
I don't know. Ignorance is bliss, man. Sometimes I envy those people because I do care. You know what I'm saying? I think I've had that conversation one time with you. And it's like sometimes, man, I get mad at myself for just knowing shit, Because now I'm like, fuck.
It does.
It's getting hotter this year. The Earth's temperature went up by 2 degrees. It was gonna happen with my daughter.
In a way, I feel like that's a privilege not to care about politics because they're not affected by any of the outcome. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. It's selfish in my opinion.
It's selfish and it's I guess if they don't have anything on the line. Like with DACA or anything like that. I just don't care. Man, I don't care. Nothing's going to happen to me.
I'm not involved.
Do you think maybe that's why we care so much about politics? Because in a way, it's directly affected by us. Maybe that's why, because we're so attached to it, right? Obama gave us, in a way, freedom, right? He gave us stability and an opportunity. And then the White House changed, and now that they have fought very hard to take it away from us,
Yeah.
And so now we're just so involved in what's happening. And
you might be right, and I feel like maybe that's even the biggest contribution for Donald Trump. Like, I feel like people here from America just want to keep it America, because they see all of this DACA stuff, they see all of this Black Lives Matter stuff, and they just don't want any of that. They just want us to be the same. Like, hey, remember when America was great again? Whenever America, we were just going to school, coming home.
Yeah, but it was great for them.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. And that's why I feel like Donald Trump has a big following, because they want it to be great again. They don't want to have to deal with DACA stuff. They don't want to have to deal with Black Lives Matter stuff.
And y'all are the largest growing demographic. Y'all seen the stats on that? Like, I know Houston's pretty much showing what the rest of America's going to be, I believe, in like 20 minutes. But I believe it's like 55-60% Hispanic or something like that. It's really, but it's like Hispanic, white, Black, and something else. But pretty much I feel like a lot of these laws are a play on keeping the political vote, because if we are imprisoning Black men, if we're killing, if we're shooting, imprisoning, if we're keeping Hispanic people out, if we're doing these hysterectomy, if Black women continue to have like a 4-time higher mortality rate within, the hospital giving birth, it's kind of like you're dying, you're not being able to come into the country. And I feel like they're just people trying to protect the vote and like the status quo. I think it's a big part of it.
Do you teach at a public school or private?
Public, yeah.
Okay, so how do you feel about, I was talking to one of my co-workers about the public school. In a way, it all depends on the area, but it's meant for us to fail. That's how I feel. They don't give us the right books. Some of the teachers just don't care. They're teaching kids from the hood. They don't care. Parents don't care. They don't care.
Yeah.
I did have a couple of teachers where I would get in there and they were just like not really caring and everything.
Yeah, now that I look back especially, man, I remember this teacher, and of course, I remember her name, but I'm not going to say her name.
Call her out.
Nah,
I'm
bro.
kidding.
I'm not going to do that. But, yeah, like in 7th grade, man, she told us that she was like, I am just here for a paycheck. She told
I had a lot of
She
teachers.
verbally told the class that.
Yeah.
She's like, I am just here for a
Yeah,
paycheck.
teachers.
So please listen, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, that's crazy.
Well, no, at that time you were like, hell yeah.
No, honestly, I feel like I understood. Like that was like that's pretty crazy, lady.
I remember
like,
you mentioning you showed up to university, and you're actually one of the smartest ones from our class, right?
Yeah,
but
all right.
But you showed up and you didn't feel. You said the other students were more advanced.
Yeah. I feel like right when I got there, former boy Lauren saved me. Nah, just kidding. And we gotta get some stories about how we met and stuff. That's some funny stuff. But no, when I went to university, got there, it was just like I feel like a big skill gap, right?
Okay.
Because skills practice develop over time. I feel like at Rayburn, teachers never challenged us to have to read, have to study for a test. Tests were meant to get you to pass. Remember, like they will give you like the review and all the answers, but you still had to like show your work. That's the way they make you like fair or whatever. But yeah,
Not preparing you for life, bro.
And so
It's
people
like
still
having a
didn't
bad
graduate.
trainer.
yeah.
Like, you about to go in a fight for life, and I'm being a horrible trainer. You can get your ass whooped by life. I got to be hard on you.
No, the first semester was super tough, but I mean, luckily, the same thing, like I feel like us DACA recipients have is that, the resiliency. So just molded myself. I learned. One things I would do is I would take myself to, remember they had like those tutoring things? Like they had a writing lab.
Okay. Yeah. I've heard about those. Yeah.
So every time from my English class, I would take myself to the writing lab and we would do like an outline. We would go over my paper, and then like the teacher would give us like 5 points if we win. Just things like that. But next thing you know, I have an A. I mean, and an A is very hard to get in.
Would you
at a
say you were trying to
university.
would you say that you were trying to do extra work to get to the point
Yeah,
of
I feel
everybody
like I
else?
was doing twice the work just to get a B or an A. And just because I just wasn't used to knocking out 6-page papers, 10-page papers. But I mean, it's at the end of the day, it's like I had an opportunity to get a free education. I wasn't just gonna roll over and be like, I can't do this.
I feel like the high school I don't know about you, but the high school that we went to did not prepare us for college at all.
I 100% agree.
It was so easy to pass the classes. At least for me.
What about finances in school?
It was just I'll just show up to tutorials later on and I'll pass. She's gonna give me a B or C or whatever.
Yeah.
They're not preparing you at all. I was saying, like, what about finances in school though? Like,
Put it close to me.
sorry, one thing, I have like a little program after school, and we teach about, or what are some things y'all wish y'all would have learned, like financially in school, or some things they should teach in school?
A lot. Well,
Yeah.
Do you want to say something or? No.
That's in the classes that they should include.
Yeah, or just really, what should they teach us? Like,
I think the most important is credit.
Credit, yes.
I think that's the number one that we don't get taught as a minority. If you mess up your credit, it's just like if you mess up your GPA your freshman year, it's hard to get it back up, and you can graduate with honors. But credit, if you mess it up at a young age, it's gonna be harder for you to get it better, which is gonna make it more expensive for you to live.
Or even like talking about loans, how you don't want to having a good lifestyle, like living to your means, to what you have. Don't be trying to buy stuff just to flex on other people and later find yourself being held back in life simply because you try to go over and above what you could have, right? And with these companies, they don't really care if you have the credit for it. Well, no, they do care if you have the credit, but they don't care if you have the job that's gonna keep you above.
Well, especially not the car salesman.
Exactly. No, they just want to get you to buy or whatever. Yeah.
Credit.
So I feel like a class that taught you that will teach you that, like, hey, you always want to try to stay within this. Like, if you're making this, try to stay around this area. Don't be buying stuff that you don't need to be buying, and other stuff. So I feel like a class that would teach you that would be super awesome for kids graduating out of high school. That have their full-time job and stuff. And yeah.
Yeah. Well, quick tip. Or go ahead.
I would say, I think that's kind of I'm gonna speak for myself. I know that was big in my community. Not having money, so wanting to look like you had money. So even though we were on welfare or we didn't have money, I'm still wearing $150 Jordans to school because you poor, you don't want to look poor. And I tell my kids that's the wrong mentality.
Yeah, that's wrong.
It's like, bro, save that money. I teach them about side hustling. I teach them how to invest. I know they're probably not gonna start yet, But it's like, hey, don't buy those $150 shoes. Buy you some $50 Kyrie's from Academy and buy $50 in Nike and do $50 like in saving. Like just trying to like teach them about saving and, you know, creating some passive income so they can, so you can, you know, be somewhere, you know, have some
so you
wealth.
can live and not survive, bro. That's like my new thing. Live, not survive. Like always live within your means, so you never have to survive to just live. You know what I'm saying?
Don't go broke trying to look rich.
Yeah,
Yep.
man. It's so important. And quick tip on credit is like, if anybody you're just thinking about starting your credit, good places to go to is like Discover if you're a student. That's where I started mine. And you always want to keep it around 25 to 30% of your credit limit. So if your credit limit's $1,000, you want to be around $200 if you're going to use that credit, and make sure you just make your payments, because you want to have revolving credit, you know, and that gets a revolving credit.
Yeah.
So eventually you're working for like a car and then a house, you know what I'm saying? So it's all important. I mean, good credit score, you got to put a lower down payment on your house, better payment overall. I mean, a higher quality of life, because you don't have to worry about like making the payment, you know.
I would also like appreciate like maybe a class in around social media, you know, because I feel like right now in class, like they're not really teaching anything about the effects of social media on you. They're just, I mean, they just go by, I mean, science, math, reading, and all that stuff. They don't talk a lot about the psychology of social media, right? Because I feel like kids from this generation have around 12 years old. They already have their first phone. It might not be connected. It might not be connected to the to where you can be making phone calls and text messages, but they are connected.
Some do. I mean, because you're a teacher, right? So you see like kids that young already have a phone.
Yeah, they have phones for sure.
Yeah, so maybe a class around what how much time you should like probably spend on those social medias. Maybe around not to teach them that before it used to be that you cared what your friends thought about you, your 5 friends, 6 friends, whatever they thought about you.
Very good point.
But now that you have 400 friends, is that the best thing
Quote,
for your
unquote.
mental health? To be worrying about what 400 people think of you?
Have y'all seen The Social Dilemma?
No, I talked to him about it the other day. And he's like, no.
I think
tell
the
me everything
suicide
about
rate
it.
for 13-year-old girls is like higher than ever, because they go on Instagram. Social media is not real life.
It's not.
First of all, it's not. There's so many models, couples looking happy while behind doors they fight all day, and the suicide rate. I mean, us as adults, now we know better than that. I see, you know, I'm like, that's not. That girl has like 3 million followers. It's a real chick, obviously, but it's not a person that you're gonna see. You're not gonna look like that. That's what I'm trying to get to. But like little boys and little girls, they don't know that.
Yeah.
So I feel like they compare themselves to Instagram models, and that's why the suicide rate is so high. That's what I think. I don't know.
That's a good point.
Yeah,
It's
no.
perfect.
It's just, man, we just live in such a crazy time. And I was just thinking about how crazy 2020 is, that even Joe Rogan's trying to get censored. Did you see that,
Yes,
bro?
I saw
On
that.
Spotify, yeah.
Yeah, because
Can you explain me how that's gonna work? Because I mean I saw the article. But
Yeah,
I
I
didn't read it.
saw the Patrick Bet David. He went into it, and it said that some Spotify employees told the CEO that they're gonna strike if Joe Rogan's not censored or edited or removed from Spotify. So that's quite crazy. I knew honestly from the very get-go when Joe Rogan announced he was going to Spotify, I was like, I don't know about that. I mean, I'm happy that he got that real big paycheck, right? Because I'm a huge fan of him. But I knew that somehow, some way, he was going to lose a little bit of that control. And in regards, I mean, even though technically maybe they haven't edited him yet or they haven't taken him off, but he has to think about that now.
Yeah,
when
for sure.
Before, the thing about that made Joe Rogan was that there was like literally freedom, and that's I feel like what I love about Joe Rogan so much is it's just like a creative space. He brings on different people, and they have the full canvas.
That's why people love watching podcasts instead of the news.
Yeah.
Because podcasts
with a new wave, man.
Yeah, man. I get all my news from podcasts on YouTube that I just watch every morning. They just drop news. It's not this political shit that you see on either left side or right side on, depending
more
on
strict, direct things like that.
Do you guys feel like maybe this time right now that we're in might not be such a crazy time, but maybe more of a transitioning time? Like people are transitioning, like we're evolving.
Bro, you've been making a lot of
humans.
great points today. Just wanna
like
say that.
I mean, I feel like a lot of the new generation, I feel like I feel like my generation, we see that we're not really into that whole racial stuff anymore. Like we don't care about colors as much as I feel like the older people, older generations. You know, that's what I'm thinking.
It's not as obvious. I think we don't make it as blatant, and I feel like maybe not as much, but I feel like it's still there though. Like
Yeah.
I feel like yeah, one thing like
go into that.
I thought it was almost, I don't say a good thing Trump was elected, but I feel like when Trump was elected, it really did make everyone's, not to be like Trump is bad, but it made everyone really pick a side, and like their true colors kind of shine through. So I feel like a lot of people that I would have thought, they might not be as, I don't say racist necessarily or prejudiced, but then I saw, okay, this is how they really feel. So I kind of did like that. It made people really show their colors, and I was like, that's how it needs to be. I want to know who's with me, who's probably
you need to know who's who.
Yeah, like 200 years ago, would you have wanted me in chains, or would you have wanted me, free?
Yeah, that's crazy. And also, that's crazy that was just 200 years ago or so. I think
it's not that long ago.
It's not that long ago.
It's really not, bro. A lot of
the first little girl who went to not a segregated school. Like she's 64 right now or something like that.
Ruby Bridges.
Is that her name?
Yeah, I don't know how old she is. Yeah, but yeah, you're right. She's not that old. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, like that.
Yeah,
that's
so probably right.
how not old it is. So, yeah, man. I mean, just one story I remember of someone being blatantly racist towards me was at Fitness Connection. We'll freaking bring that place up.
Here we go.
Yeah, here we go again.
The Fitness Connection update, baby. Let's get it.
No, man, but it was just it was me. You remember David Alvarado? I think you met him. I think you met David, right? You remember David Alvarado?
Okay.
David Alvarado?
Yeah, it's my boy.
Okay, do you remember the whole grandpa story I was talking about? The grandparents? That was his actual grandpa.
Oh my God.
What the hell? Small world, dude.
Small world.
When you wanted the eggs on your plate. Oh my God.
That's hilarious. All right, sorry, continue.
Oh my
Fuck. That's crazy though.
I hijacked his grandparents. Goddamn.
Lawrence is so lost right now.
Yeah, I'm just gonna laugh.
Sorry.
Hey, you gotta watch what
Go back
episode
to
is that? Episode 2?
2 minute 52.
No, yeah.
Oh, so you were saying about that racist?
Oh yeah, you were.
We were just working out there in the summer, summer workouts in between football season, and there was this old gentleman who, I mean, no lie, he's probably in his 70s, probably up there, but he was he was in there and fairly fit. I mean, I'm sure he must have been a warrior or something, because he was you can tell he was a determined dude. Long story short, he got mad because first David kind of dropped the weights. He kind of was I saw him, whatever, kind of give us a look, whatever, and then I went and then I put him down, and then he came, and I mean I'm a 16 years old,
Yeah.
and then he came, and then he was he started just talking shit to me, you fucking dumbass. I think he called me a spick.
Wow.
And he was like you people are the scum of this country, and then I mean, honestly, man, I'm not on a side story. I was like, oh man, this is bad, but I'm gonna go ahead and say it. I was like, shut your old ass up, go ahead and die. I mean, dude, I was a 16-year-old ignorant kid. I was if someone was telling me that, and then I had this OG homie who was 30 years old, and he kind of was like, hey man, chill the fuck out to that old man. But I don't know, it was crazy. I told my mom that story, and she was so mad that I told him something back. She was like, what if he would have gotten away and hit you in the head with it? I don't know, he kind of looked a little crazy like that. But
push the bar down.
Yeah.
Do you guys feel that's part of the transitioning that I'm talking about? They see new skins, new skin colors, new races coming into their towns. They're maybe states that probably were Mexicans or any other ethnicity was not so common to see around.
Yeah.
And as more people start moving in, going into different states, different country, I mean different cities and stuff, those people are still trying to hang on to their man, this is
to make America great again.
Yeah.
Make America great again. Yeah. Goes back to that, right?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I definitely feel like it's happening, but the good thing is that me as somebody who has children, I do feel that right now, I guess we are going transition, but I feel like the world that, in a way, we kind of want to envision overall is a better world. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Yeah.
So for a lot more people of color, and eventually, excuse me, I think it's we're it's kind of hard to say we're heading in the right direction, but at least like there's, it's being constantly talked about. At least it's out there. At least it's like, being known. I mean, you were at the protest. You saw all the different types of ethnicities out there. You know what I'm saying? When protesting peacefully, which is, they have the right to do. So at least it's like a step forward.
Yeah,
for sure.
For sure, man.
And then you get this ruling for Brianna. That nobody got charged or any of that stuff.
Except one police officer.
Except one police officer for shooting at a wall
neighbors,
or something.
Yeah.
Which is so ridiculous. It's crazy, like, to think about it. But I also heard that judge, he's actually like one of the I think what is it called? Jesus Christ. He's like under like Trump's wing. So he wanted to. They had already been talking about what was the ruling going to be or whatever, and it obviously had to be that the cops were not to be charged because of what who the judge has. I think Mitch McConnell was the guy that took him under his wing whenever he was becoming a judge or whatever. So he already had ties to all of that stuff, which is crazy. And again, it goes back to tribalism, like people are like, hey, you're with me, you're gonna have to do this, no matter what.
No matter what, you have to lean a certain way.
Because if they would have convicted the officer, now you got to really convict almost every officer that shoots or is reckless of a person of color, and they're like, we're not going to do that, or at least just not yet.
Not yet.
So I feel like that's really what they were more so afraid of. But I think he got fired. The guy who what did he shoot through the window of the blinds like blindly? Yeah. Because he didn't even see where he was shooting. He just hopped on the balcony and was just shooting through the window, through the blinds closed. Yeah.
Somebody that's undertrained with a weapon doing that. I'm sure. For sure. I mean, more trained than myself, but not. I mean, for that job, it's just it's a difficult job. Yeah. And I do have police officers that are friends as well, and it's like I think good police officers are necessary, and there's a lot of 100%. Good police officers out there that care about the community, that care about people. It's just that unfortunately we're still just see some, oddballs of a system that they were brought up in. That was a certain system that was meant to do certain situations, and there were certain blind spots and stuff. But I feel like we're overall moving in the right direction, with what's going on, and hopefully it is. I mean, I don't know.
Do you remember the Tamir Rice shooting?
Yeah.
It's like cause like you said, I do think it's a lot of good cops. I've had some good experiences as a police officer. A lot of experiences with white cops. Honestly, it's a lot of times it's cops of color that try to flex sometimes or flex on me and show that, oh yeah, I'm gonna write him a ticket. I've had some good experiences for sure. But the case with Tamir Rice, man, what was this? I think he's a 12-year-old boy. He had like a toy gun in his hand. Some neighbor in the park was like, yeah, there's a black kid and gun in the park, and he's got a toy gun. They said he had a toy gun. And I forgot the cop's name, but he pulls up. I don't know if you see the video, but he pulls up. He hits the curve, the way he comes in, hops out his car. Huh?
Real aggressive.
Yeah, real aggressive. Literally hops out the car and shoots the kid within 2 seconds. And of course, he got off. But the point being was that to me, you can have good and bad cops, but the system protected him because he had been fired from a previous department because he had mental issues. He was mentally unstable. He was in the fire, bro. He was in the firing range. And he started having a mental breakdown on the firing range. So they pretty much they didn't fire him, but they fired him and he got shuffled or they transferred him to a different department. So pretty much the way teachers and doctors, if you mess up as a teacher, doctor, whatever, you get that mark on your name and you can't get a job within the state but cops don't have that. So that's part of the system. The union protects a lot of them. A lot of the laws that they want to pass to ban a lot of things, the union is going to step up to protect them because they're like, we want to protect our cops. So.
Yeah, and I'm not too educated on the unions to really speak on them, but I hear that's usually a big problem is the police unions and the way it kind of protects certain things. No. I don't know. I would have to get somebody to.
It's the only place where unions are conservative because usually unions are liberal, but for cops they're super conservative. It's kind of funny.
Yeah.
So Lawrence, you say you were a teacher, right? History teacher. What grades do you teach?
7th grade.
7th grade. Oh, okay. And how do you
narrow me down? Find me now. No.
That's funny. How do you see students reacting or are they even reacting to any of this stuff that's going on? What do you see anything in there?
Oh, they see it, man. Inner city, a lot of minorities, they see it, they feel the pressure. They don't understand systemic racism a lot. They just but they know whether they're Hispanic or black, a lot of them know that this is the way I'm seeing, but they're not eyes wide open to it like we are. So
okay.
They see the effects for sure. They feel it.
Okay.
Gotcha.
I was just wondering, like, to see how deep it's going into our youth. You know.
They share stories, yeah.
They racism affecting them as well, or yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just curious to see what you were seeing out there as a teacher. Has COVID affected anything with teaching for you guys?
We're online for now. We're going back within 2 weeks, but we've been online since March. So yeah, so it's definitely affected. Yeah. Not loving it too much. I feel like kids, obviously, they're not learning as much as they could if they're in a school. You know, sometimes I call on a student, and you can hear siblings in the background. You can hear TV. You can hear video games. They're hopping on games between classes. So, I mean, you know, yeah.
Not really caring about
they're having a field. They miss their friends, but they're having a field day.
You know, I heard that private schools are really winning right now because since they're like, they can kind of like function as their own, you know, entity, like, you know, like a lot of parents that wanted like they could put their kids back in school and they're like, you know, school district was like, oh no, you know, but like not like for a bad reason. Maybe some parents just have to do it, right? But private school is the option where like a lot of kids were able to get back and get into school, you know, and all that good stuff. But yeah, we're about the hour mark. We can take a quick break, come back.
All right,
guys.
Sounds
We'll
good.
be right back.
Be right back. Welcome back. Part 2. Little
Part
break
two?
with 2.
New episode.
New episode. No, part 2. Season 2.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding.
Lawrence, I know you and Noe went to university together.
Eating more cats.
How'd you guys meet? Like, were y'all in the same class, or you had the same class together, or what?
No, I'm actually gonna let Noe tell a story because he's a better storyteller. You know, I get to the point, I'm boring. So Noe got this.
So I don't get to the point.
Dude, but you're the guest.
You're
You gotta
All right, how
tell
about
us.
this? You tell your side of the story, and then I'll tell my
All
side
right,
of the
go
story.
ahead. Yeah, sounds good.
But it's a pretty funny
I like
story.
that.
I forgot. I mean, it's college, probably like a Thursday night. I know me, my girlfriend, me and my homie, we hit up this party for this fraternity is having a party, and you know, we pull up, having a good time, typical stuff, whatnot. And I see this guy by the fridge or something like that. I think he's by the fridge.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I was going to get a drink or if, I don't know, but I went over there and started talking to him for some reason. And then we just chopping it up, having a good conversation. And you know, and I'm the president of my fraternity at this time, and like being a fraternity, a big part of it is like recruitment. You know, you always trying to find good guys that work out, guys that are business minded, intelligent, etc. So I was like, man, it's a really good dude. So we were just having a good conversation. At this point, I'm kind of recruiting, but I'm like, you know what? He's probably at this party for this other fraternity. So I was like, nah, I ain't gonna get to really like get him like that. And at some point, he's like, yeah, bro, you cool and all, but I see this girl I'm gonna go holler at, you know. And I'm like, all right, cool, bet, that's a bet, dog. And then I turn around, he's pointing at my girl, and I'm like, wait, hold up. And he was like, oh, my bad, dog, yeah. But so yeah, it was like the first time we met, bro. And he didn't tell me that story at my wedding, bro. So I mean, it's pretty dope.
Yeah, I told that story because I mean, he ended up getting married to that girl. I mean, that's his wife.
Yeah.
But
badass.
no, I mean that's in a way that's how it went. You know, I was there and I was by the fridge and I remember I don't know we started topping it up, and then you were like, oh yeah, man, I'm Theta Chi and this and that, and then
Did you end up joining his frat?
Yeah. So I mean that's my fraternity brother.
Now your groomsmen at my wedding. It's crazy, bro. I like
Yeah,
working. Met you at a party,
crazy, bro. Well, we're here and stuff, but yeah, man. I was like, man. I was like, all right, man. Good talking to you, man. Great to meet you. I'm gonna go holler at this girl over here. And he's like, what girl? And he was like, that one right there, standing by herself.
Yeah.
He's like, that's my girlfriend, bro. And I was like, oh my god, bro. Like, you know, so I just met this dude, like, you know, probably 3 minutes ago. So, you know, I was like, am I gonna fight this dude? Like, what's gonna happen? Like,
What?
what would he fight him? Like, you never know.
What
Like,
are
what
the
if he pops
bases?
off and like,
Yeah,
what the hell?
Like,
You
it was
know,
instantly
my girl.
serve.
So, nah, it was
Dare
all
you not
good.
know?
It was a funny joke, and we kind of just like, you know, knew each other, said what's up. And it really is crazy how I ended up like joining the frat, because it was like a Wednesday. I remember because, you know, it was just like a crazy how it happened.
I
So
saw you at the gym.
yeah, so in Sam Houston, this thing called bid day. Do you know what bid day is, or ever heard of it?
No.
Okay, so
Bit day? Like
bid.
B-I-T?
BID,
Oh, B-I-D.
like a bid.
Okay, yeah,
Like,
gotcha.
I'm gonna bid, you know.
Yeah.
So, bid day Saturday, and bid day is known for being like a really fun day, all day. You know, you're hanging out. It's a day when you like present, like, you know, you go through recruitment, like kind of how he was talking about, and then you let certain like group of guys who you want to like bring into your fraternity. right? But there's like a big pool of people, and there's like 8 fraternities or so.
Oh, you're gonna make
And so
bids
you
for
kind
it.
of like, you're trying to bid, and like they can accept your bid or not, but you're not giving a bid to everybody. You want to pick the cool dudes, so because you want to keep it going, you want to keep the frat going. So yeah, Saturday, Wednesday, we went to the gym like at an off time, you know. I just went. I just like randomly saw him
Divine
there.
intervention.
Yeah, and then I was just like, "What's up, man?" You know, we weren't cool. Like, you know, I was like, just kind of knew him.
Yeah.
He was like, "Yeah, man." So we started chopping it up, and then he was like, you know, thinking about Russian. What happened with this other situation? He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "How's your GPA?" And he was like, "Look, man, I'm not trying to recruit you, but we have an event tonight. Pull up, bro. Just pull up." And then I was like, "Man, whatever. I'll pull up." At first, I remember, I think I even told you no. I was like, "Nah, I'm good, bro. I'm just chill." And then he was like, "All right, man. We just want to pull up. Just pull up." So I was like, "Man, fuck it. I'm gonna go ahead and go." So we had a big fraternity house, you know, where like the brothers stayed and stuff. Yeah. And we should show them a picture of it. I will show it to you afterwards. It's pretty cool, actually. And pull up, and it was just a good time, you know. And I remember I was like, "Oh, well, I'll make my decision later, you know, whatever." And I remember I went hiking with my homie Tony, because he was like, I was like, "I don't know what to do. Should I go through with this or not?" Because it's like you have to go through a process, right? A pledgeship, you know, after that, if you accept the bid and stuff. But so I didn't know if I wanted to go through that stuff. But long story short, I was like, "Man, you know what? I have nothing to lose. I'm gonna go ahead and do it. If it goes well, it goes well." And I'm gonna go ahead and pull the trigger. And man, one of the best decisions of my life, in the sense, I mean, at the moment it was cool because it was partying and having fun, but I mean, also the business aspect of it. I mean, we would put on events and things like that for the school, and networking, working with other fraternities, sororities, organizations to put on events. Like we put on events for like what was that one where we had like it was like for like fitness and stuff. We had like a yoga. I think AJ was running.
Well, take charge, like the
take
self-defense
charge.
and all that.
Yeah, like I mean, just different things like that.
Did you guys have initiation for your new recruits or not?
Yeah. I mean,
yeah. What was it? Like,
no, we can't talk about that. It's man.
bro.
No, he's walking around pamphlets around the
Nah, but it was a great experience, and I mean, it's actually really good to put on your resume whenever you go into the business world, and especially like you're getting you know, interviewed by somebody who might have been in a fraternity. It's right away like, "Oh, you were Greek. Oh yeah, what fraternity? What sorority? Oh, cool. Yeah, that was me back in 07. Oh, you know, just like quick guys conversations. Like when I first started my first job, I'm not gonna say the company, my first like real like sales job. Like 80% of the people who worked there were in Greek life in college, literally, and because it was outside sales. It was like business to business, you know, like so it was one of the people who were like likable people with social skills who can out there, you know, make it happen, right? So it kind of fit the mold.
And Lawrence, you say you were the president of the
Yep, president.
How'd you get to be the president? Or did you?
I know, it's crazy looking back on it.
Really?
I mean, just came in, rush. Started with secretary originally. I moved up to VP, which I think vice president was like the most beneficial for me because, like I said, like you're going through college and you're learning how to run a business. You know, like you're learning how to run committees and work with people, and there's so many valuable skills that you learn like from the fraternity. And then after VP, it was kind of like, all right, well, you know, next in line is run for president. You know, and I just felt, I don't know, I just felt like I had it. So.
But like you did it, nice. How long does it take to how long did it take you to get to president? Like, does it take a long time or?
No, I mean you have people that can. It really depends on your chapter and who. I mean, you have people that can be a member for a year and a half, then move up. You have people that are members for 3 years. People that never do it. It really just depends on you. And your
because there's also
organization.
brothers who just never want to even be like hold a chair. There's some people who just want to kind of ride it, and there's people who want to hold like chairs for like, you know, want to make me like help your resume or maybe just a personal thing you want to do.
Hold a chair, is that like you're like just being part of it?
Like a
there was
position.
like, you know, like position. So like president, VP, treasurer, risk management, right, or something like that.
Yeah, I forgot all the positions.
But just like the main things of like when you think about an organization, it's kind of like we try to mimic that.
Oh, okay.
So
That's cool.
putting on different things and just like that. I mean, it was a cool experience, man. And it helped. It's beneficial, and it also makes your your college experience a little bit just more fun. You know, I mean, other things that just party be. I mean, like even like when we had like intramural games, you know, things like that.
Yeah.
So when it was
Yeah.
you know, soccer, we used to play like have a team for everything: soccer, basketball, football. So you're just playing with like your closest friends, and it was just a cool experience, man.
Nice.
You know,
Nice.
that's what me and my boy, and also my boy Lawrence, the homecoming king.
He always gassing my head up.
Huh?
He always gassing my head up.
Yeah, man, that's crazy. Sometimes I'll be hanging out with him. It was a pretty cool deal, but I'm like, bro, you really won that. I mean, that you were like, I'm gonna do it, and then you did even like a promo video.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, do you remember that,
I
bro?
forgot
You did
about
a whole
that. Yeah.
promo video for
Yeah,
that.
it was pretty dope.
And then yeah, man, crazy.
So they still do like homecoming, like even in college and all
Yeah,
that
yeah,
stuff?
homecoming king, queen. People run for it. You run usually as a couple, right? Or you tell the experience.
Well,
about
yeah, I mean, you can run as by yourself or with a team. I ran with Georgie, a Delta. Shout out Georgie. She's actually in law school now. Hope she's doing well. But we ran together like for king and queen, and I think it's just more beneficial because obviously you're taking all your supporters, and if you link with them, you're kind of taking some of theirs. So yeah, it's a dope experience, bro. I just wanted to get out and see what would happen, and try to get. I got a free class ring out of it. So.
yeah,
Oh,
one
really?
of these
Yeah.
right here, bro. One of these.
I
you
need
got
to get a
free one of
resize,
those.
but yeah.
Yeah,
That
that's crazy.
like that.
Yeah. And one of the things, shout out my boy Ethan, which is part of our so in our fraternity, it's like you're like the big whole, but inside you have like your smaller families, and then he was like we were like part of the same family, you'd say. And our other boy Ethan, he also won the homecoming king the next year, right?
I think 2 years later.
2 years later.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
And everybody gets that ring? Or
Yeah,
it's
you
the
got
prize?
that ring, too.
Dude, that's
That's cool because for him it's a good experience. I mean, you had to like walk up in the middle of the field in the homecoming game and receive it.
Does that make y'all's frat look way better if y'all have two
Oh, yeah,
homecoming
definitely.
kings?
Yeah.
Yeah, like coming out of there. Was there a bigger frat than you guys, or
Oh,
is
for
it-
sure.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
How does that rank? Like, is it by members, or is it by how much money you got, or what house you got, or how does that go?
It's a variety of factors.
A lot of stuff.
Yeah.
We can talk about. All right, cool.
Depends. Yeah, but I mean, it's just like not trying to like it's like the glory days or whatever. But it was just a cool experience, man. It was just a cool experience. Met some really good people. Made a really good friend for life, and yeah, man, learned things about business and things as such.
Are you gonna push your kids to go Greek? You think, or?
Oh, I wouldn't. I don't want to push my kids into anything like that. But I think like if Rosie would be like, oh, I want to do this, I'd be like, oh yeah, go ahead and do it. I mean, I experienced it, so yeah.
Do you have any kids, Lawrence?
Mhm.
No.
Not yet.
Knock on plastic. That's funny.
Now, did y'all? Was there like Greek life? Was it real big at U of H or no?
Honestly, I wasn't into it, bro.
No.
The university was paying for my school, so I was just doing work and classes. That's it.
Oh, okay,
I was
gotcha.
never
gotcha.
into.
Yeah.
You never like stayed at the. You're not right.
Nah, not even. I would just go to the games. And that's it.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
Y'all tailgates are pretty live though. I see y'all
Yeah.
tailgates like on Snap, Instagram. It'd be pretty packed.
Yeah. We had this one crazy tailgate. It's called Battle of the Piney Woods. That one's pretty cool. It's like the main big tailgate. It's at NRG.
Okay.
It's a game and it's known. And yeah, I mean that's where it gets pretty lit. Like it's the biggest tailgate. It's also like when a lot of alumni come back. But I don't know how it's gonna happen now with COVID. I mean, because everybody was packed up in there. But
Pretty sure everything's like canceled, right, or moved.
oh yeah, I
to
mean
another
definitely
day.
not this
for
year. Oh, I think actually Sam Houston's having their, what'd you call it? Their season next year.
Oh, there's football season.
Yeah, they're gonna have it in the spring.
Did y'all hear about like all that stuff that was happening with like the Big Ten and all that stuff that they wanted like some football teams didn't want to play, others they want to play.
Yeah, the Big Ten was like one of the conferences that was like super like they're not gonna play.
Yeah.
Which has Ohio State in there.
How do you feel about college players not being paid if they're the
That's a
ones
good topic.
bringing all the?
Yeah. What about you, Lawrence? How do you feel?
I think they should get paid.
You think they should
It's
get
a $1 billion industry. The coaches are getting paid.
$1 billion
The facility,
industry.
$1 billion. Yeah, you're right. Everyone else is getting paid. So they can't really hold a job if you're an athlete.
Definitely.
You know.
Yeah.
I mean, they have a lot of perks, but at the same time, it's very minuscule to amount of the revenue the school gets, what like a coach gets. I mean, the thing also with like college sports, and let's just say football, or basketball as well, but it's just like a discrepancy of like experiences. You can have like a 5-star recruit that's gonna get like literally everything handed to him. Of course, in the sense of like materialistic to like go and pay for a school, to guys who have to go to like the JUCO route, a D2, things as such. So, I don't know, man. But it's just a hard thing. I guess maybe for like the schools that like bring in a lot of revenue, they can get some money for it. I don't know.
Is it still possible for high school students to jump straight to like the NBA? Or,
No, they made it. They had the 1 year minimum, right?
Yeah. They're going. A lot of people are going to Europe now for a year.
Yeah. Shout out to the Ball family, man. They kind of switched the.
Hasn't the NBA now created a program for themselves, like where you don't have to go to school?
Like the G League.
I think so. Yeah.
You get I think like $50K to play in the G League, but I feel like most people they rather go to Europe. But I think you get like $50,000 if you play a year in the G League, and I don't think you have to. I don't think you have to do college now.
Yeah, I don't think you have to do college for the NBA, but I know football you still do have to go through
It
it.
kind of also makes sense. Like, if you're like a player, I mean, it's kind of a hard topic because of course you want to kind of push school or some type of education to kids, but. If you're somebody who you just know, or everyone's like, if it was possible, you could be in the NBA right now, 18 years old. Like, why go 1 year to a school that you're not gonna get an education from, or at least like not right there, risk injury, not get paid, or go make money. Yeah. And especially, let's say for example, you're not somebody that was like wealthy or so, and you can go from. You can go to Kentucky and get everything to you for a whole year, but your family's back home still gonna be struggling. Yeah. So why not go play in Europe? You're gonna get paid $125,000 to play, which is honestly a pretty good living at 18 years old, and get some money back to your family. It's just a crazy thing.
If you had a son, would you let him play football?
Yeah, I would. Well, I would let my kids do anything they want to do safely. You know what I'm saying? So like
that's the thing. That's the main thing.
Well, yeah, but the thing is like, I wouldn't show. If I had a boy, I mean, I'm not gonna have any boys because I'm done having kids. I'll have 2 girls. But if what do you call it? That would happen, then I would let him. He would be like, man, Dad, I really want to play. I would never shun my kid from like any type of like experience. But it is a sport. Even now that I only went up to the high school level and played. It's a sport that does take a toll on your physical body. It does at a very young age. Yeah. And there are those crazy like freak stories of kids like being paralyzed and stuff.
Did you watch that? I think it's Aaron Foster with Joe Rogan, his podcast.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was a long time ago, but I did.
He said I did played like a full season with the broken collarbone.
Yeah, I don't
because he didn't want to get cut from the team.
Yeah, broke as heck. It's crazy.
Lawrence, how do you see your students like engaging in school like? Whenever you see like all these social media stars, like these YouTubers, these TikTokers that are like making a crap load of money, like do any of those kids ever like see that like kind of school like not like pointless, but just like man, I probably could be doing this, like I could be a YouTuber or I could be something else,
Some do actually see it, and I'm glad for the students that see the money that can be made. I'm like, yeah, monetize your charisma, your personality. Like how to do these TikTok dances, how to do this, that, and the third. Find ways to get paid for your personality. So I appreciate the kids that do. Obviously not like, this is all I want to do, but I feel like, we can't shy away from like times are changing, and like, yeah, I'm telling them, like you said, you don't get paid to stream, and I'm streaming every day for class. So
yeah,
times are changing.
Yeah, times are definitely changing. Just technology that show the social dilemma. I watched a bit of it, and it's just crazy what it does to you. Even sometimes myself, Lawrence and I had our conversation a couple days ago. And it said, like, sometimes I feel like, why am I even looking at my phone so much? It's just like, it's addicting. It's just like, I know it's like unhealthily bad for me. It's
crazy what people say sometimes. They're like, if somebody were to ask you, Lawrence or Noe, like, how long do you think would be a reasonable time for you to be on your phone? You would probably be like, maybe an hour or 2 hours. And then you look at your phone stats and it says you've been on that for like 6.5 hours.
6.5 hours.
So like
looking at a screen.
Yeah. So like, what do you like? Do you guys think maybe? No, that kind of self answers itself because like I was gonna say like how long, like do you think would be a reasonable time for people to be on their phones? But it's not even that anymore because now they just kind of like already like bait you in to come into the
there's so many techniques, man.
It's
to just get you to engage. Know your behavioral buying patterns.
Yes,
that's really is the biggest thing. But that's what the most that the phone knows about you is like your behavioral pattern, like your buying patterns, right? So, and they get me, man. Like even this shirt I'm wearing right now, like like it one time just came up, and I was like, oh damn, that is something I would like to wear.
That's a Facebook ad shirt, bro.
No, Instagram. Yeah, 47.
Instagram shirt. That's funny.
No, the 47 website, but no, yeah, it's just a point that's so crazy, but.
I wonder how people are gonna see how this time in history is gonna go down. You know, how people are gonna look back at us,
Dude,
like see what things.
That's a good point.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah. Remember the quote that I told you? You can't judge. What was it?
History,
the past ignorance with today's knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
I was listening to this podcast and they were saying people from the future are probably going to judge how we live today.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't doubt
Man,
it.
they ate so much meat. They let their kids play football. UFC was the thing.
Well, yeah, I'll say.
They were just two guys hitting each other.
Yeah.
And I mean, if you really
They
think
were
about
brutes.
it, I mean, it
maybe
does make a point.
Also, even they're gonna be like, yeah, there was applications and there was like Facebook, there was Instagram, and they had no laws on data gathering. That's crazy, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, like really, like everyone used to just know each other's stuff, like all their data.
No gun control.
Yeah.
No taxes on gathering data. That's
Yeah.
like, you know, like some crazy stuff that
Yeah.
we cannot even think of right now because of,
It's so new. It's so recent.
exactly. And that's what I'm saying about this whole, like, I feel like we're in that transition period right now
yeah.
where so many things are being invented. Technology is ramping up quicker and quicker every single time, and nobody knows like how to make laws because everything's moving so fast at such a fast rate that our lawmakers. You see how long it takes to make any laws for anything.
Yeah.
Do you check your students for smartwatches when they take a test? Because that's how we used to call it in college.
No. I mean, I'll be honest with you. Right now, they can even have their cameras on. Like at school, yeah, but right now they can have their cameras off. Like, so it really ain't
Because
no.
I mean
yeah.
and
true.
it's at St. Jack. Most of the professors, they were old, so they didn't really know about it. Everybody was copying through their smartwatches. They were like, here's a
But
test.
expose
Blah, blah,
everybody.
blah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they don't know about it.
Yeah.
Do you,
I'm sure they picked up on it now. I remember they used to have like signs at Sam. You'd be like no smartwatches.
No
Or
smartwatches.
like professors, like the real strict ones, they'll make you take all your watches off, or you're gonna have jewelry on a test date. No hats on test date.
Lawrence, for you as a teacher, what are the guidelines? Like, do they give you like a meeting or a packet, or what is it like for technology in your classroom?
Oh, for technology?
Like what resources do they give
Like
you?
for phones, phones, headphones. What's
Like,
the?
they don't give us like headphones or phones. Like, you're saying like, what do they give?
No. I'm saying, what do they tell you as the teacher, like the institution or the principal, or what are the rules basically like for you guys? Like, what do they tell you? Like, hey, well, if y'all want, y'all can let the kids use the phone for a calculator, or like, what do they tell you as a teacher?
I mean, typically, yeah, you don't want the phone out as a distraction. I mean, certain activities would do. I have them pull up a link online on their phones. Like, we play the Kahoot or something. But
Kahoot.
Yeah. But,
Yeah.
typically, yeah, definitely stay off your phone. It's just dangerous, bro. I mean, people take pictures. They're going to post it in the chat, start roasting someone. And then someone's getting bullied and someone getting beat up because it happened in your class. So I'm like, nah, just keep your phone away because I ain't trying to see that.
Dude, have you ever stopped a fight at a school?
Yeah, and I be trying not to laugh, bro.
Really?
Yeah, sometimes.
Oh my
Because
god.
it's funny or what?
Yeah, I'm like, come on.
I mean, yeah, they
I
are.
don't know.
What? They're
Sometimes
14
it's fine to me.
No.
Like,
Oh, man.
Seventh graders or what? Like 12, 13.
Yeah, people were
Oh, yeah,
throwing
12,
down there at
12,
that time
13,
for
yeah.
sure. It's crazy. Two little humans going at it.
Yeah.
That would be pretty funny, but at the same time, it's not. I mean, I don't know. I mean, at the boy, I don't think they'll be.
I mean, you at the
offended.
age where some kids you need to take an ass whooping. Like, I'd rather you get in a fight. I'm not saying I promote fights. People are like, man, but I'd rather you get in a fight at 12 than you get in a fight at 18. You know, like I'd rather you get in a fight and learn some things now, learn your lesson, grow up. Because some people they never get in a fight and then they become an adult and they first fight they trying to kill someone or they just get their ass whooped. Like,
Exactly.
Yeah.
You
I
do that
really-
shit out
Have
in
you
the
ever met
streets
somebody
and-
who you just know they need an ass whooping? Or you're
They
like,
need to
that
get one of those
person's never
12.
had an ass whooping in their life. It's
Did
like
you-
it's
did
healthy
you ever
for everybody
watch,
to have.
that video of this student telling the teacher, "Nah, kick me out, and you can call wherever they want. I ain't leaving the class." And then the cops shows up, and he just like manhandles the shit out of him.
I'm sure it
I think it's a
happened,
girl, and he just throws her. And I mean, in my mind, I was
Oh,
like,
I think it happened. Like he like slammed her really hard.
yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
And in my mind, I'm like, you try to do that shit out in the street, or like you said, if you don't learn that lesson in school, and that's your attitude towards people, you do that shit in a bar with to the wrong person,
Mhm.
and it's not gonna be that pretty.
Yeah.
That could probably even be one of those like what we were talking about earlier. You know, like classes that we wish like we had, or that maybe
Yes.
that could have like
skills.
like skills, like something that like what happens in the real world. You know, like talking like that or doing all this kind of stuff. But
And I feel like if anything, we're going completely the other way, where now people are so used to just saying things with like no repercussion, with no consequence
Exactly.
of what they're gonna say because of social media. These keyboard warriors, and they do not have the skill to confront somebody, say something to somebody, or even know how to respond when someone tells something to them. Does that make sense, right? So like they don't know how to respond to anger or anything like that. And those are the people who blow up, have a huge breakdown, make a big old scene if that's the case. But it's just a skill they haven't developed. I feel like that's a skill that's healthy to develop, the confrontation skill, or like that like push pull, right? Because some people are literally people can literally live in their own bubble now, where it's like no one's gonna tell them no in a way, right? They're gonna get everything kind of how you want it. Everything can be custom now. Everything can be brought to you, literally. And then they don't develop that push pull skill. And then when that does happen, because it's like quite inevitable if you think about it, right?
Eventually
conflict is gonna happen. So that happens, and then I feel like they wouldn't know how to react. And now we have like a bigger issue.
Yeah,
that makes sense. Yeah,
and this whole COVID and staying at home isn't helping anything out, right? Like all these kids staying at home, not being able to have social skills or socialize with their fellow students. Now with this COVID stuff, everybody being at home, just stuck in your computer, not even paying attention. Like I said, picking up games in the middle of classes or whatever.
That's exactly what a lot of people think happened with George Floyd and COVID happening at the same time. Everybody's stuck at home. They have all that energy, and then the George Floyd thing happened.
It was just like the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah, it definitely played a big role.
And it became political. They used it towards everybody used it towards their favor.
Yeah,
It's crazy, yeah.
Crazy stuff. I saw one of those crazy videos. Maybe I saw it. It was like this people who were climbing this. That's where the iceberg, and it reminded me. They were climbing an iceberg.
Oh yeah,
and then it started flipping. You didn't see any video? Oh my god, that was have been super scary. One of the guys, I feel like he would have died. He was like one step away from not dying, because it would have they flipped on him.
Yeah,
it would have been bad.
I don't get that video, because imagine an iceberg, right? You guys, like on the ocean, in the middle of the ocean. They get on the iceberg, right, and then they start like kind of climbing upwards towards it, and then out of nowhere the whole iceberg just starts shifting, and then it like kind of like swallows them, right? But what was the point of that? Like, what were we trying to do? Just get to the top of the iceberg?
Probably trying to do some crazy stuff. Take a good picture for Instagram. Get a bunch of likes.
Get a bunch of likes. There you go. Social
I feel like that was the overall objective.
How do y'all feel about putting yourself, like you said, just trying to get to the top of it? They're basically putting themselves at risk for. I mean, it's just
for the IG,
for the Instagram. It's
you
just
don't have to do that
for the release of dopamine, bro.
There has to be that social media class.
Like I feel like now the biggest issue is that we're just so addicted to dopamine, right? Which is the thing that your brain releases when you're happy or when you're experiencing something that you like. So everything is so easy now to do, right? So we're constantly being fed dopamine, like to ourselves, and what you call it, like that we're just like looking for the next rush, right? Whereas that's even like somebody liking our picture, sending us a DM. Or just actually doing something like that. We're just like constantly searching for it. I don't know, man. It's a crazy time to live in. It's a crazy time to be an adult at this age, us being in our 20s. And for me, with kids, seeing, I'm like, I just wonder what world my daughter's gonna grow up in, because I feel like it's not the one. I know for sure it's not the one I grew up in. Very much different. So what world is that gonna be? I hope it's a good one. I hope. I mean, did you see that thing about that clock that said 7 years to a human get to a point where it's going to be, inedible, climate change, or like the world's going to...
Yeah.
Didn't you share it? No?
Nah.
I don't know. You didn't see that?
Yeah.
But, yeah, man. I think about that stuff.
Now that you have a family, are you... which I'm sure you are way more cautious on who you have on on your Snapchat and.
I mean, no, dude, I don't even have Snapchat, bro.
Oh, or on social media overall.
Yeah, in a way, man. I'm just more just conscious with my energy, who I'm friends with. I mean, even acquaintances with. For that especially, bro. Like I talked about earlier before in a different podcast, that I'm constantly observing, making sure everything is safe. And I'll talk about it, something that I want to bring up when we have a good friend of mine, and she works kind of like in the psychology field and stuff like that. And so the reason why I like kind of have that certain intuition is because I grew up, without a father, and to a certain extent, you know what I'm saying? About like 14 years old or so, 15. Where he's been in and out, but it wasn't ever anything concrete. Like for example, like you are blessed enough that you have a father, right, who has been constantly there. And I feel like when you grow up without one, you kind of realize like the small details you miss, like the things that just don't come to you naturally because you didn't have like a male that you saw do certain things. Like even the other day, I was walking with my kids. Saturday morning, I saw his dad, like helping, like telling this kid, like, "Oh, we're gonna cut the lawn," type stuff.
Okay, just simple stuff like that. It's about the
Yeah,
details.
yeah. So like now this kid is gonna develop a certain pattern. You know what I'm saying, to process information, things like that. And someone we see, the whole point is like, because of that, it's just not just myself, but when young men around that age get like, they don't have that figure. They grow up with a certain bias of how they see life, where they're like constantly like looking for a threat, making sure that everyone around them is safe. Because sometimes when, like for myself, me being the only child pretty much from a mom, at that age, you step up to be the head of the household early.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Now you develop a certain bias that now when I'm like 25, I already process information a certain way, certain see the world a certain way. And also kind of like when I found out I was going to have a baby, and I knew like, of course, in a way I was young. I was 24, but, or 23. But I knew that I was kind of like ready mentally. I was ready to like go down that path. Does that make sense?
Sure.
So, and then also, I don't know. It goes into different things, but yeah.
Have another question for you. Like you mentioned, you protect your energy a lot, right?
Mm-hmm.
Does that include? I feel like we all have friends that just love to share negative shit on social media. Do y'all like delete them, mute them, or do y'all just don't care about it?
Yeah, I don't unfriend them. I might need them one day. I'm just playing, but I mute them, bro. I don't need the energy. Like you said, you gotta be careful who you put in your life. They should be there for a purpose. Like either you're teaching me something, helping me grow, or if it's just negativity, I gotta get rid of you. It's not for that.
So would you actually delete or mute?
I mute them. Yeah, like on Facebook, I unfollow.
Yeah, you don't need that shit on your newsfeed.
Like if they're there, I'll go look them up, but I don't need to see their negativity anymore.
Yeah.
For me, I used to kind of be mute, but now I'm just like completely like unfollow 100%. I just don't care. Like if you like get offended, they're like it's social media, it's Facebook. If I see them in person, I'm not gonna be disrespectful to anybody.
Yeah, sure.
But at the same time, it's like in a way, it doesn't even get to a point where. Like I don't have any friends who share negativity stuff. You know what I'm saying? If someone's like that, I don't allow myself to get close to somebody close enough to call them a friend. If I see him like constant a certain bias towards life or people. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Right? Like if they're just negative Nancy's.
Yeah. What about you?
I don't get that far.
So for my social medias, what I'm thankful for is that like I feel like I have a good way to I'm very good with dealing with social media, as in like I do photography, so I have my business like on my social medias, and I look at myself more like I'm just trying to promote my photography.
Yeah.
So all of the people on Facebook that I care about my family members and my friends, obviously, but I never go into social media to see what people are thinking because I really don't care. So on my like Instagram, I hardly ever see the photos people post. I just maybe like if I see one of my friends, then I like or whatever. But for my Instagram, I'm just trying to post up my pictures, trying to get the followers up, just for the social media to get clients and stuff. And then for Facebook, I deleted my Facebook like a long time ago. I just started it back up just so I can start sharing photos, so I can get more clientele through on there. But thank God that I detach myself from all of that, because that I see a lot of people that go crazy and start commenting like if they're gonna solve something through commenting on Facebook with other people.
I had to stop doing that.
I think the worst one is Twitter, man. Do you still use Twitter?
No, I don't. I deleted
Twitter?
I deleted my Twitter.
I literally deleted my Twitter. I used to delete my app, but I literally deactivated my Twitter because I was like, this is just bad.
Yeah,
you gotta make the move, Lawrence. You gotta make the move, bro.
I need to delete mines.
Yeah, I feel like Twitter's that special bubble where anybody can say anything and just insult you, cancel you.
It's also like discipline, like you gotta discipline yourself, your body. Your mental health, everything, But like I've been learning a lot about discipline, since like I've been on this diet or whatever. But I also learned that you lost a lot of weight, right?
Yes.
Tell us about that. What was your weight before?
I was about 255, maybe almost 260. I just graduated. graduated, left criminal justice, started teaching, moved in with my future mother-in-law. She's Mexican, she cooks delicious food. Not putting the blame on her. It sounds like
you
I
got
was.
the 300 after
You know,
that? No, I'm kidding.
nah. Hey, it was going that way, you know. And I told my girl, I was like, man, what point was you gonna tell me, you know, like you was gonna leave me? But I just started balancing my macros, like your boy Felipe said. Honestly, bro, I found my why. I know you was reading a book called something about your why. I saw it on the table. But it's just so powerful, bro. Finding your why, and y'all probably think this is tripping, but I had like this vision or dream or thought of myself one day, and it was like it was 5 months before my wedding, and in this dream or whatever, or thought, it was like a 70-year-old me, and I'm looking at my wedding photo, and I'm like fat in my wedding photo.
Oh, fuck.
And then I'm 70 and I'm fat too. So I'm like, damn, like I'm fat now. I was fat and out of shape then. Yeah. And it was like, I really let the prime of my life, when I could have done the most, like health wise, I really let it go to waste. And it was like, I've struggled with weight my whole life, but literally after that day, like I had that spark to be like, you know what, like when I'm old, I want to be able to, you know, show this to my kids. I want to be able to look back and say, you know, look what your dad did. Like I took care of myself. I was a, you know, good example, and hopefully be around, you know, when I'm 70. Yeah. But yeah, bro, I found that why. And then I started balancing my macros, Googling, YouTube and everything, trying to find out what's the science behind food, what to eat, what not to eat, cut out all the processed stuff, the sugar. Another big thing your boy Felipe said was, what's your personal goal? You know, a lot of people don't know their personal goal. For me, it was like, I don't want to do fitness shows. I'm not trying to be the one that just want to pose and look all. I was like, I want to look good, you know, but I want to have fun. Like when the fight's on, I'm going to drink, I'm going to turn up. Me and my girl, we want to go somewhere, we can go eat, we're going to have dessert. So just finding I use the 80-20 rule. So 80% of what I eat is healthy and 20% is whatever I want. So I mean, I'm probably getting some margaritas when I get home tonight, but
nice.
And I'm still cutting, you know, because
I had a margarita this morning.
Hey, there we go.
For breakfast.
There you go. Not for lunch, man, but yeah.
But yeah, so when was this? Like, when did this happen? When did you get down to your current weight that you're at right now?
I'm about 190, about 16.5% body fat. Which is decent. I'm trying to get lower, but I ain't trying that hard. But it was about 2 years ago. You know, it took about within the first probably 3 months, I lost about 35 pounds at least.
Yeah, I remember that, dude. Just like seeing that your progress, you started going to the gym. Because I remember Lawrence. We used to be like, me and Ethan used to be the one to be like, Lawrence, bro, you can't skip the gym again today, bro. Like, right? I mean,
I was going just to snap pictures. I was the guy just, you know, what's up? I'm here. I'm checking in.
Like he was there, like not really caring. Hated when we did leg day, you know, type deal. But now, man, one time Lawrence just really got with it, man. And it was great to see. And then I just like hadn't seen you, and I saw you. I was like, bro, what the hell happened? And then just kept losing the weight. I'm like, dude, you look amazing, bro. Like, great, like,
what happened to your cheeks, bro?
So you said you had this dream, right? You had this. Oh, fuck, crap.
Charlie horse,
bro.
Charlie horse.
Crap. Oh my god.
Stretch it out, bro. Stretch it out. It's okay. So you had a dream. I'll tell it for you.
Lawrence had a dream.
Then you really got a cramp.
I had a game in the morning, so.
Oh, you play soccer today?
You're about to be 31. Stop doing that. Not kidding.
No, that is kind of scary, but I mean, I commend you for playing soccer still, bro.
Yeah, I know, dude, for sure. Right?
Yeah, I'm scared.
All right, go walk it out.
Yeah, walk it out. Walk it out.
It's gone, bro.
There you go.
All right.
Well, what position do you play in soccer?
Center mid.
Center mid. Yeah. Is that where Ronaldo plays? Nah, I'm just kidding. Oh man.
So,
all right, I'm back.
All right, hold on. He's coming. He's
coming back.
So you said you had this dream of you being 7 years old and.
God dang. Okay, so you didn't want to be fat. That's it. And then I gained all the weight for him.
I sat down and it came back.
I was just asking that question of how long it took for you to get into shape, because I know a lot of people, like, they want to get into shape, lose weight, and they go in maybe like a month, 2 months, and they don't really see that much progress, and then they quit, you know. So I was trying to see, like, how long did it take you so you said like around 2 years?
Bro,
right?
honestly, like, but for our progress, you gonna see them. If you really got that why and you really sticking to it, you gonna see that progress, and you gonna want to keep going. Because I think the biggest thing with me was adding cardio to my workouts. I love lifting weights, but not the cardio. And my wife, she got me on the stairs. Was like, yeah, man, start doing these stairs. I'm like, finally, you told me something. But yeah, if you're doing cardio and you're eating right, you're gonna see those results, bro, within 2-3 weeks.
Also, the consistency you had, I feel like that was the biggest part.
Yeah.
You were stupid consistent.
If you're doing your job, bro, it don't take that long. And then once you start seeing the weight come off, you're motivated. So now you want to go longer. And then you develop a pattern, a lifestyle, and now it would be weird for me not to work out or run or to eat this.
That's what I started noticing. Yeah, that whenever you start like realizing what's good and healthy for you to eat, that later on, like even if you're not counting like your macros, you kind of like already know like, hey, I know that if I eat 3 bean burritos, that's probably not the best for me because I know beans have a lot of calories and a lot of carbs or whatever. So you start cutting off on things. So I feel like learning about health and stuff gets you to be more conscious to actually realize what you should be eating, even if you're not gonna hit it to like the specificsness of it, you know. So I started seeing a change in me in that, where like I feel like I've been going for 3 weeks now, and I've already lost like 11 pounds.
Oh, nice.
And like even like yesterday was my cheat meal day or whatever.
Not today?
No, it was yesterday.
Oh,
I was
okay.
like, dang, I really want to go like get like 2 McDoubles or and, like, you know, something. But then I was like, dude, why are you gonna go do that? You know, like you're still on this track to lose this amount of weight. So I was like, I'm gonna just go like chill out. Like I really love Chipotle, so I was like, dude, Chipotle's like much way better.
Yeah.
Even if it's
That's
not
a good healthy option or alternative option.
Yeah. So that's what I noticed about myself. Like, that you're right. Like whenever you start seeing like some results, you just want to keep it going. I think that one of the biggest things that changed for me was that I started looking at things that I hated doing. Like, dude, like I'm being honest. Like 3 weeks ago, I was struggling to do like 5 push-ups, bro. I had no arm strength at all. And then I made that switch in my brain where I was like, coming home from work and dreading that. I was like, fuck, like I'm gonna do pull-ups and then not pull-ups, I'm gonna do like crunches, I'm gonna do like the little triangle stand. And I was like trying to like stay away from the push-ups though, right? But I was like, I made a switch in my brain where I was like, dude, as soon as I get home, I'm gonna hit the push-ups to see if I gain like at least 1 more push-up that this time I could do, you know?
Yeah.
Instead of seeing it like as the bad thing that I wanted to like avoid to the max, I switched that thing to be where like, I can't wait to get home to do push-ups to see if I can do 1 more, at least 1 more.
Yeah.
Something. And I feel like I see that in my family, because a lot of my family has seen me started doing working out more, and they're all kind of like, oh, I want to try this too.
Yeah.
And I told my sister today, I was like, let's go do a mile, and she hates running. And I was trying to explain to her, like, switch that thing on your brain, like switch the dreading to go run to I can't wait to go run to see if I can like run past this tree or past this bench, you know, like set like small goals for yourself.
It's sometimes you have to like trick your own mind, right? To like to success. Like, all right, it's 20 minutes of running, but it's really 5 minutes of breakdown and 4. So just get down to the first part and then go on the second one. Yeah, man, it's those
and
crazy.
And you can apply that
games.
to anything in your life, you know, like if you dread doing homework or something, you switch it to like, all right, let's see if this gets easier for me to do, or if I can like if I can study a little bit longer so I can finish this or whatever. I don't know. I just feel like
it's like Joe Rogan says, man. You gotta conquer your inner bitch. That's what he says right there, man. And I think that's it's such a vulgar statement, but it's something that's so real. That is that sometimes you just cannot listen to that voice of doubt in your head, you know. And so like with me, in my profession, what I do. Sometimes I have it, you know, and I've just recently been like, don't listen to that. Like, it's just self-doubt. It's just in your own head, you know what I'm saying? So, and it goes into sometimes working out, like, oh, man, I don't want to do this, but just get through it and just build that momentum.
When you started cardio, Lawrence, what was it like? What were you struggling with? Like, were like mile or like
stairs? I was on stairs, bro. I definitely wasn't running. Let me get closer. Yeah. So when I started doing my cardio, I was afraid to run, so I was on stairs.
It was stairs?
Yeah. You were the king of the stairs. I remember one time I went to work out with you. You was like on level 20.
Probably like the first year, bro.
Like,
I never ran. God. I just did stairs probably the first like year and a half straight. Never ran. And I was scared of running.
You just really started running recently.
I run now. I started running during COVID, actually, because the gym shut down and we had a track by the house.
Okay.
So it was like, all right, now we got to actually run. But yeah, bro, until then, it was stairs.
What were you doing? Like, how many miles were you running or whatever?
Well, I mean, initially I started off with 8 minutes before every workout on the stairs. Then I moved it to 15 minutes, and it was like, no matter what, I'm going to do 15 minutes. I forgot how many calories, but within the first year, within eating right, 15-minute stairs, working out, I lost like so much weight. Probably like 40 pounds within that first year. And but now since I downloaded the Nike app, we have like a competition. We try to like see who's running more.
You compete with AJ or who?
Yeah, mainly AJ. Yeah, but I mean it's everyone, all the brothers too, but mainly AJ is up there. But so now I probably run like 6 miles a week, 4 minimum probably. So I can eat. Honestly, so I can eat more. Just so I can eat junk food and drink.
Yeah.
Like
make up for them wings.
So
man.
yeah, year's back now. His freaking leg healed.
Yeah, your leg is better, bro.
Yeah.
All right, you want to throw out that question that you had a dream?
Oh, yeah.
The dream with the 7-0.
So you said you had that dream. Did your mind did your mindset just change like that, or did it take you a while for you to actually think about that dream and be like, I gotta get my shit together, or did it happen the day after?
What's crazy is by the time I had that thought, my mindset really literally changed like the day after, which I thought was freakish. I think about it, but it was like literally my whole life I thought one way.
And like you knew yourself, like it was a switch.
Like I knew, I was like, nah, bro. Like once I had that why, I was like, I gotta do this, and like I know why I gotta do it. Like I was like, I can't be that guy that's looking back with regrets.
For sure.
What was your why?
Yeah. My why was pretty much I was like, I don't want to look back on a young version of myself and be like, damn, like I'm out of shape and I'm old and I was out of shape then. I want to be like, at least I can look back and be like, you really took care of yourself. You made the most out of it. Like, look at all these athletes, what they do with their bodies. Like, you can do something. You ain't got to be an athlete, but at least like be the best you can be. So that was my why.
Yeah, and you also had a wedding coming up too, so I'm sure that was an extra motivation. But yeah,
like it was literally the picture. I was like, I want to look good in that picture, like when I'm 70, and then it was just from that. It was like, just keep at it, like.
Yeah, man, look at you.
Yeah.
And the best part too, honestly, bro, is that you have kept it off. Not you just lose it and it was like a skit. You have kept it off, bro. So commend you for doing that. And yeah, man, I feel like we're at a good spot.
Yeah, thank you for coming out.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate you.
Podcast.
Yeah, man. So close it up here, man.
Anything that you want to say?
Lawrence,
so closing thought, let's say that man, I just really want to thank y'all for having me out here to the podcast. I know y'all empowering the community, people around you, uplifting. I just want to say that the education system, last thing I'm saying about is just really a lot of amendments that need to be changed. I want them to start teaching real history that's going to empower Black and brown students. We need to learn about our heroes, not just people that have built our country, because right now we're learning that pretty much all the good things that's come from this country, like we've made no contributions, and that's why we're made to feel like things go on and you should like, you don't have a say in it. And there's so many Mexican people, so many Black, Asian, Middle Eastern people that have contributed to how great America is.
Of course.
So we just need to learn about that. Schools need to teach about that. So it's just like one of my last closing thoughts is real education. Go empower yourself. Study for yourself.
Amazing.
Yeah, I agree. I completely agree with all of that.
Yeah. What about you, more than anything you want to?
No, man, I just want to again say thank you for coming out here. Like I said, whenever I envision, I know he's saying that we're going to have a history teacher named Lawrence come out here, I was envisioning somebody completely different.
Yes,
but,
me too.
Yeah, right? Me
Yeah.
too? Yeah.
That's
So I was like,
funny.
okay,
Really?
cool.
Okay.
But,
Hope I didn't disappoint.
nah, you disappoint, bro.
But
Great,
boy, man.
great interview. Thank you for
Great
coming
man.
out again. Also, thank you to all of our listeners that are always supporting us. Yeah, you want to say anything?
I mean, just thank you so much for coming out, sharing your story, and sharing
Yeah,
your
man.
knowledge, man.
Man,
We appreciate
Lawrence,
it.
shit, man. Love you, bro. Man, you my dude, bro. And so happy, bro. You came on, and shared some information, did this with us, bro. And yeah, man. Just thank you so much. And my boy, just say thank you.
All right, guys.
All right, guys.
All right.
Peace. Later.